Hi there, and welcome to the first episode of the Goon Squad. If you're wondering what Goon stands for, it's Gon instead of Goon, so don't quote me on misspelling things. It's my poor educational background. Uh, we're going to talk about all things geeky, otaku-y, nerdy in this podcast. Um, the first thing I wanted to just touch on, and it's been a big thing in the news apparently, is the fact that manga's been outselling comic books left, right, and center. Uh, I grew up reading comic books, loved reading comic books, primarily superhero stuff, love that stuff. My kid, on the other hand, she's 12. She loves manga. I tried to get her into comic books a long time ago. Um, didn't really stick with her. She discovered manga, and you know, I read a chunk of it too. She's right now. She's got 110 volumes, various manga stories in the house, and she loves reading them. Um, I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't think it. I see a lot of people complaining about the fact that the comic industry is tired and retread, and I don't know if it's all that. I still like reading comics from time to time. I pick up comics and read them. I like reading certain stories. Um, I do find manga has become much more interesting to me than it ever was when I was younger, or it was not something. It was not a genre I was ever exposed to. And it was probably because it wasn't as popular. Um, it, from a value standpoint, I can see why people are buying manga more than they're buying comics. Yes, here in Canada, you can spend anywhere between 12 and 18 bucks on a volume, but you're getting 200 pages of manga, so you're getting multiple chapters of a story in a volume that you can read, which, when you consider what I spend on comics, an average issue up here runs me anywhere between five something Canadian and almost $7 an issue for upwards of 30 pages. Um, you want to do a cost dollar average, maybe that's where the industries seem to be taking advantage of things. It appears to be better value when once a month you can buy 200 pages of something to read versus every month spending $7 for 30 pages. Um, I get it. I don't think it's the end of the comic industry. Just the comic industry is uh, it's predominantly a North American market, and it deals with North American concerns, and there's been swings all over the place. I get that. Manga, on the other hand, is unapologetically what it is. Um, they tell those stories, but they run the gambit. Like, I've never seen slice of life comics. You hear about slice of life manga, and they're funny. Um, I read The Way of the House Husband, and that book is hilarious. I love that book. In fact, I don't think I've ever found a comic that comes close to what, you know, the stupid, funny little things that go on in that story. And maybe it's maybe it's because manga tends to not. I don't know. I don't think it takes itself so seriously that it's not willing to exploit the reader's ability to kind of buy into, whatever situations are occurring. So he's an ex yakuza. The Way of the House Husband, not to spoil, his ex yakuza um, decides to leave that life and takes up with his wife, who works, and he stays at home, takes care of the house, cooks, cleans, does whatever. The stories are hilarious. I know the anime is the greatest on Netflix. I liked it. The manga is 1,000 times better. It's so funny. I've even had my wife, who I would never ever have said in the years that we were married, who never picked up a comic book, had no interest, mentioned Way of the House Husband. My daughter read it. My wife's actually almost read the first volume. She loved it too. That broader kind of appeal to sheer numbers of people, I think, is why manga is doing so much better here in North America than the comic industry is. I don't think there's a comic book I could point to my wife who she'd want to pick up and read. And even if she did, at 32 pages, there's not enough to get you into the story at times to get you kind of motivated. Now I know it's that monthly thing, and you want to keep going back. Um, maybe they need to move to a weekly system like manga does. Drop 6 or 7 pages every week, and then wait and collect all these stories and chapters, and or drop 10, 12, 18, 19 pages a week. Um, in a collected magazine that people, and give them varieties of stories. Anyways, that being said, like I said, this is hopefully going to be more widely accepted or listened to. Um, Hopefully, once a week, I'll talk about not only things like manga versus comics, but I hope to do some reviews in the future of movies and books or comics I'm reading, or fantasy and sci-fi novels that I'm reading. Um, just to give you kind of consider it the layperson's view on things. Things that interest me, trailers, upcoming movies, etc. Hopefully, it'll be all things kind of geeky and nerdy, and people will wanna hear about that stuff, and it'll work itself out. Um, but it's just, I know it sounds weird when I say Goon Squad. It's just me, but I am a geek. I become an otaku, and I've always been a nerd. I've always appreciated kind of the nerdier things. Not to make that word sound mean or whatever. Um, so, thanks for listening. That's all from the Goon Squad. Until next time, have a great day.